IGN's Top 10 Sci-Fi Weapons in Video Games is presented by Oblivion, in theaters April 19th.
Science. To a lot of people it's pretty boring, but in video games it creates some of the greatest weaponry you could ever imagine. Sure, they're science fiction, but that's what makes them so fun. So let's talk a little bit about our 10 all-time favorite sci-fi weapons in video games in a list we like to call IGN's Top 10 Sci-Fi Weapons in Video Games. Makes sense, right? Let's get into it.
Number 10.
The BFG from Doom is usually the first thing that comes to mind when talking about video game weapons. For a lot of us, it was our first time encountering a gun that was unique and not just another pistol, sniper rifle, or shotgun. This was cool, and it made you feel like a badass when you were sending those demons back to hell as a puddle of goop. It was also a great excuse to throw some cheat codes in just so you could absolutely destroy everything on the screen. Oh yeah.
Number 9.
A gun that shoots sharks? Okay, so maybe it's not plausible, but it's definitely a lot of fun. Originally seen in Armed and Dangerous, this weapon will send out an army of fierce fish to hunt down and eat anyone you don't like for lunch. And when Saints Row III released a similar weapon as DLC, it was still just as fun to watch. Enemies make a great snack, don't they, Mr. Shark? I thought so.
Number 8.
A Halo weapon was bound to show up on the list somewhere, but when the voting dust cleared, the plasma grenade was the one that made it. At the end of the day, we figured sticking someone in the face with a ball of energy was one thing that never got old. Remember the first time you did this to someone in multiplayer or campaign? That sound brings back some good memories.
Bet you can't stick it.
You're on.
Oh, we did, Cortana. Again, and again, and again.
Number 7.
The FARSIGHT XR20 is easily one of the deadliest weapons in Perfect Dark, mostly because you'll never see your opponent coming. It can see through walls and take you out with a single round. Oh, and maybe I forgot to mention this, but that single round can also penetrate any of those walls, and the sight homes in on enemies. There's nowhere to hide, and you'll never know you're a target. Definitely the kind of weapon I want to be holding in a multiplayer match.
Number 6.
I think all of us have imagined having a portal gun at one time or another. Wouldn't it be nice to wake up in the morning and just walk through a portal to get to work? Or what if you hid one somewhere halfway across the world and just went to Japan on a moment's notice? Or what if you shot a portal under your boss and sent him into oblivion? All those are great options. This ingenious invention created by Aperture Science is one of the coolest toys we've ever been able to mess around with in a game, and that's why it's in our number 6 spot. Oh yeah, and it can be pretty lethal when used right.
Number 5.
Duke Nukem doesn't put up with anyone's crap, and why should he? He's got the weapons and attitude necessary to put them in their place, including a shrink ray. That good old shrink ray. Pigs and demons don't stand a chance when you shrink them down and apply a boot. Okay, so maybe his boot is the real weapon in this situation. Whatever, it's still pretty sweet.
Number 4.
When Isaac Clarke had to go up against a ship full of necromorphs, he began with only one tool at his disposal. And luckily, it just so happened to be exactly what the situation called for. The plasma cutter is easy to identify by the 3 lines of light that come off of it, and the limbs that go flying off of whatever it's pointed at. This weapon was our favorite engineer's best friend in Dead Space 1 to 3, and it's also deadly, like Dead Space. Get it?
Number 3.
Well, it's hard to beat a katana made of light. Maybe a light something, I just can't think of it right now. Anyway, the beam katana from No More Heroes is just like another iconic weapon from the movies, but with a little more character. Like the fact that you need to shake it to power it up. Once it has a decent charge, however, it can slice and dice with the best of them, and cause money and blood to go sailing into the sky.
Number 2.
Half-Life's gravity gun, or the zero-point energy field manipulator, is one of those weapons that everyone remembers, especially when it was powered up at the end of Half-Life 2. At that point in Freeman's journey, it doesn't just pick up smaller items, it can grab guards and use their flailing bodies as the projectile. If that doesn't work, Freeman could grab some pure energy and use it to cause instant disintegration. Who needs saw blades when you can atomize your enemies? Nobody. That's who. Now before we reveal number 1, let's go over our list one more time. Number 10, the BFG. Number 9, the Land Shark gun. Hi, Mr. Shark. Number 8, the Plasma Grenade. Oh, I did stick it. Number 7, the FARSIGHT XR20. Number 6, the Portal Gun. Number 5, Duke Nukem Shrink Ray. Number 4, the Plasma Cutter. Number 3, the Beam Katana. Blood money, yay! Number 2, the Gravity Gun. And now it's...
Number 1.
If you've ever played Super Metroid, it's hard to forget the ending. A Metroid, the thing you had been taught to hate, shows up and gives you the most powerful beam Samus has ever wielded, the Hyper Beam. With it, you'll absolutely destroy Mother Brain, so much so that her body will explode and her head will fall off before it turns to dust and crumbles away. Gross, Samus! Oh, and just to make sure that Mother Brain is completely dead, Samus then sets off a time bomb. Seriously, I think you have anger issues. Still, the story associated with the Hyper Beam, its raw power, and its climactic reveal solidifies it as our number 1 sci-fi weapon of all time. Good old laser beams. Now I know what you're gonna say. What about so-and-so weapon? Well, why does our list have to be the final say? Let's talk about it in the comments below and keep the discussion going. And for more on all that's cool and related to gaming, you know where to keep it locked. On IGN.